Do you know what happened to our mouse? Oh, got it.
Yep, there you go.
Thanks, buddy. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Greg. Hey guys, welcome into the show. Before the show, like and subscribe. Please let people know what we do here. We're grateful when you do that. Literally, if you guys all if everybody shared, we get to even more people. And of course, remember, we're on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. Hey, Tiny, good morning. Hi, Joe. Karen, good morning, guys. Appreciate it. Good morning, Patriots. Thank you for any donations, guys. Help keep us going. Bills are always going here. We appreciate it. Keep our free speech platform going on. CancelTheShow.com is where you can do that, or PayPal or Venmo under Cancel This. I'll say happy Holy Easter again. Hope everybody had a good day yesterday. Obviously, we'll be talking some Pope stuff. Guys, happy morning. Happy Monday morning. Hey, Projo, sending you another video, okay?
All right. That promo video that I did last night that has your contact information on it, do we play that during the show?
Yeah.
Or okay, I didn't know if you wanted me to play that or not.
Well,
it's got your contact information on it.
That's a good thing. I just need to make sure it didn't have the one.
I just wanted to make sure.
But did it? Hold on a second.
Okay.
I had to check that out.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome into the show. Hi, Kimberly, Jamie. The question was, what was different about this one? That
it just doesn't have the website on it. It has different contact information.
Okay, because
and it's got the urge in it because they gave us permission to use the video footage that
cool.
I took.
I saw that.
Yeah.
We'll start the show off with it. We'll also end it. We'll also with both, and then the same using Alliance Tech from Thursday and Aesthetica at the end.
I still have them pulled up.
Thank you. Oh, did I get? I think the one that I got to send, the one that didn't go through the picture, guys. This is the show before the show, as you know. Very organic as we just make sure everything is under control. I got the one pic I should have sent that didn't come through.
Okay.
There was one, remember I told you that didn't.
Okay.
I'm sending it. I don't think this came through. Sending now, Projo. All right, sent it to you.
All right.
It'll be a subject you want to talk about with AI too, I promise. All right, all right, all right. Well, happy Monday. Oh, yeah, what Glenn said. I'll go ahead and send you this one too. Thank you, Glenn.
It must be still uploading. I haven't received the first one yet.
Oh.
Oh, there's the first one, I think.
And I just sent you a video too, okay?
Okay, this is a screenshot. Okay, gotcha.
Kimberly says, good morning. Jamie says, good morning. Stephanie says, good morning. Joe says, amen. Greg says, I was yesterday years old when I found out that Anthony Weiner was in Sharknado 3 as NASA director, Regina. Yes, a play on his name. Ha, ha, ha. Make money wherever you can, I guess. Bills keep coming. Joe keeps saying, Vic, we got this to pay. We got that. I'm like, what? Why don't these bills just stop? Yeah. Hey guys, let's go ahead and get this. Oh, I got one more. Hold on, Joe, real quick. Actually, we're doing the intro and then we're going into the Renew Media. So we can go ahead and start. And then I can do this.
I thought I'd do the Renew Media first, then the intro. That way.
You got it, buddy.
All right. Are you red eye?
I think so.
All right, here we go.
Folks, today's a big conversation. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Capuy.
Hey guys, welcome into canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust here, Pro Joe behind the scenes. Glad you're with us. Happy Easter. Yes, Renew Media Group. We've got that as well. Haven't heard that in a while. That's right. We still do all that. We still produce all the Dr. Naputi's videos. Joe is constantly working around the clock. Thank you for the great promo. By the way, that's Joe. He's a super photographer, super editor as well. We produce podcasts. We help people get started. Let us know if it's not even for you, family, friends, let us know. We can get people started from that standpoint. We help create media campaigns with video for any companies, helping them. It's a podcast aspect where you're in studio talking about your business, but then you put it to your website, your social media pages. And then, of course, we also have a program where we work with where it hits people specifically on social media that are in your niche, your business. So keep us posted if we can help you. Victor, or excuse me, that's Vic at canceltheshow.com. Vic at canceltheshow.com. You can also contact me if you already have my email, Victor J. Faust at gmail.com, or give me a call at 248-763-6721. This is Cancel This here Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays right now till about 10 o'clock Central Time live. We appreciate you guys jumping in. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Pope situation. Pope Francis passes away. Also, Chris says, if after J.D. Vance's visit to the Pope, had God call home Francis to stand before judgment, just in case, can JD have a visit with Soros as well? Coincidence? Maybe, but it couldn't hurt. Just saying, a little tongue-in-cheek there. In all respect coming from Chris. I know Chris, so if you know that, we'll go from there. Connie says, I'm praying for Cardinal Timothy Dolan to become our next Pope. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, we'll break that down too when that comes through. And Greg also said, normally I post some silly things, but today I offered this prayer. Lord God, we give you thanks for the gift of Pope Francis, who served as your vicar on earth, successor of St. Peter. That is the lineage, and it's scriptural, which is where popes come from. People are like, why did the Catholics just... No, upon this king. So the successor of St. Peter, who was given the keys to the kingdom by Jesus, scriptural. We ask for your mercy and eternal rest for his soul. May he find joy in your presence and be numbered among the saints. Bless and console his loved ones and the faithful who mourn his passing. We pray for the church you entrusted to his leadership. May it continue to be a light in the world. Amen. Yeah, we'll get into all of that. He was a pope that made me question a lot. But at the same point in time, there were very evil popes along the way. It doesn't mean the faith or the message is wrong. It means a person was flawed that made it to that position. And is that possible? Absolutely. Don't forget, the teaching is never wrong. The faith is never wrong. People as humans distort it and don't do. And if it was wrong, with all the terrible popes along the centuries that came in, the faith would have gone away, but it didn't. Just remember that. Good morning, Linda. Okay, coming up, we got a lot to talk about with that from a political standpoint as well. The left has no policy to land, so that they continue to push the senator, the Massachusetts senator, the whole MS-13 Maryland man, which he is not. He's a gang member, illegal El Salvador. It has gotten way too much publicity. But there's nothing else going on. It was Easter weekend. So, of course, he made his way on the shows. We'll break that down. It just continues to push Democrats further. Guess what? Ratings, rankings, statistics, favorability for all Republicans continues to go higher. Democrats continues to go lower. And that's why they push through that. J.D. Vance, how about that? Last political dignitary to meet with the Pope, right? And I guarantee he got a blessing right before he passes. Like I said, we'll break into that, and then he's off to another work trip. That guy is a machine. We talk about Donald Trump being a machine, never sleeping. J.D. Vance and his wife, holy moly! Pro Joe brought something to my attention with COVID.gov. We've been breaking down all of the crap. Of course, it takes time for the truth to come out, but it always does. We'll touch upon that. Not a shocking development in China for their youngsters. America, wake up. America, wake up. Like it or not, we're going to talk about AI as well. America, like it or not, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. AI isn't going anywhere. It's getting bigger, stronger, badder, and better. than ever before. But does it mean it works for everything? No, it doesn't. And I'll give you an example of why it does not. Also, could what's happening in Europe with Muslims overtaking countries literally create a world terrorist situation unlike that we've never seen before? We'll hear from a human rights activist on what scares her the most from that standpoint. An update from the Supreme Court backing Donald Trump because the media never tells you that. What happened with Pete Hegseth's chief of staff that went down Friday? A little scary. We always say the left, the deep state will not die. They will not sleep. They're the whack-a-mole. They continue to pop up and try to infiltrate anything and everything they can. Don't forget about that. Also, a reminder of where we were last Easter to where we are now and why we were in a much better state from president to president. And President Trump showed off a brand new hat. And anything else that you guys want to get to today here on cancelthisshow.com. Okay, first things first. Donald Trump posted about Pope Francis. He passes away at the age of 88. He was all about life, which you have to be. As Donald Trump said, rest in peace, Pope Francis. May God bless him and all who loved him. I know people who knew him. I did not respect the fact that Pope Francis did what he did and tried to do what he did to former St. Louis Archbishop Raymond Burke, who I know personally, and who is the most conservative, not only from a faith standpoint, but from a political standpoint, and arguably the most intelligent canon law lawyer in the world right now. He's listed on Fox News as one of the final six, but he is so far right and so about God, which should qualify him for the position, that I don't think he'll get it, because I've explained before what happens with the Conference of Catholic Bishops, as I've told you before. I won't tell you which one told me, read between the lines, but the church was infiltrated and half those bishops fight with the other half. It's almost a good versus evil, a right versus left. And I am not kidding when it comes to some of the things that are there. And, oh, let's change our church teaching and just love everybody regardless. There is that within the church. It doesn't mean the message has been wrong. It was for an entire generation where people were not catechized correctly, and many left the faith and didn't believe in it. I was one of them that left the faith because I saw a family of mine not living the faith as it should have been, because they were not taught, catechized correctly over a generation. Now you've got a leaner, meaner priest force. You've got more on fire people actually teaching church teaching, actually going to mass, teaching what is right, what is wrong, and not just those who say, well, I was born Catholic, I was raised Catholic. If you say that and you went away, it's not your fault. You were not catechized correctly. It's fact. I did it. I went back to the faith because the black and white truth of being a reporter, I had to see it, because I was a person looking to pick Catholics off everywhere I could, because I knew that they were wrong and evil because of the examples that I saw in my own family. But it took a Catholic who knew his faith, who knew the Bible, who actually lived by the faith to bring me back. And it was only because we studied where the Bible came from. My ex-wife literally said, well, where did the Bible come from? It just didn't fall from the sky. And it was through that teaching, the academic, I'm about the academic, the black and white truth, which forced me into a year study, which is the only way that God brought me back. But I understand what's happening. Raymond Burke, I would love it if he was the next pope, but he's not going to be. But there is a battle. So when it comes to the Pope Francis, 88 years old, he was a big believer in life, which is huge. But he also disagreed with Donald Trump's immigration policies, his border policies, as many of these infiltrated Catholic charities did, receiving money and then allowing illegals to come in. Did it happen everywhere? No, but it did. And you got to call it out. You've got to call it out. Was that picked before Trump was president? I don't know. I don't know if it was or not. Jeannie says he was disappointing. He was disappointing to me as well, because a lot of time he was the first pope from the Americas. He's from South America. He was Latin. Latin America. South America. He left a lot to be desired. And media, he would say things that were kind of lukewarm, and then the media would take it. And of course, we know what the media does. They lie, cheat, steal, and try to turn everything liberal and just letting things be. we will see. Greg, leave it to you to jump in. It would be you or Robert from Michigan, from the Detroit area, who would say this. I was going to get to this. According to a 12th century monk, Saint Malachi, Pope Francis is the last pope. Robert says he was the first pope from the Society of Jesus. He was the first pope from the Jesuits, and I'll leave it there. I don't want to upset anybody when it comes to me talking about Jesuits. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. Every faith has its issues. Every faith, every denomination, including the first one of Catholicism. Glenn says, I believe that was when Pope Francis visited New York City. It might be. But there are several candidates, 6. What frustrates me is that there's 3 or 4 who are already considered very center to left. And I'm like, it just frustrates me. That's not the message that you got to send. But once again, you've literally got who votes for the Pope, just to let you know. The people vote, you have to be under 80 years old to be able to vote. And there's only about 139, I think, cardinals worldwide that vote. That's it. 139. And then who's been infiltrated? Who hasn't when it comes to politics, when it comes to getting money? Remember, there was a Judas among the 12 who did do what he did. So you can't think that everything is going to be perfect all the time. From the chat line, I hope that whoever is placed as the Pope will reinstate Bishop Strickland as well. Francis or his cardinal cabal that surrounded him. And I can't disagree or go after you for what you said here, Chris, because if anybody knows the faith and truly studies it as I do and live it, not just say, oh, yeah, I'm going to pick and choose what I want to do. You understand there's been some very bizarre things happening. And it's underneath so that, and national media and world media won't cover it. They'll take things and use it for their play. Francis or his cardinal cabal that surrounded him had a vendetta against him. He stood against the blasphemy coming out during Francis's tenure. The same thing happened to Archbishop Raymond Burke. The exact same thing. Francis pulled his funding because Archbishop Burke refused to be quiet about a lot of the liberal teachings that were going on in the church. And I am not speaking blasphemy. I am speaking 100% truth because I know the interactions of what happened with that situation. The parishioners should vote on who would be Pope, but that's a worldwide deal. That could get very, 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 very complicated. Robert says there are 252 cardinals, of whom 135 are eligible. I said 139 in the conclave to elect a new Pope. You have to be under 80 years old to do that. So that's where you are. Francis passes away at 88. The one thing I did really respect about him is he preached humbleness. Not fanciness, didn't want the fancy, didn't want the special place to live, chose for a more humble place. That was one thing that I did agree with. Loved that. But his messages were very lukewarm in a time where you can't have lukewarm messages, especially where media is what it is. And you guys know what I'm talking about. You can't have lukewarm. Times and situations have forced us to be bold and be black and white. It took Donald Trump to come in and be very bold, black and white, to make sure that we understand. Because when you are not black and white, you look at what happens and it's like, well, maybe it's not so bad to promote trans on Easter. I mean, let's just be loving. Yep, that's what happened last year, Joe. You can pop up that full screen to remind people it's only been 1 year. And look where America is now. We are in such a better place. God, thank you for blessing us. Thank you for looking out for America. When we put you first, we know we get blessed. Literally, it was 1 year ago where that joke of a president, the worst president in the history of this country, the one under very suspicious terms, honored trans visibility on Easter last year. Who did Trump honor in a terrific speech? You can look it up. I'm not going to show it and spend time today. He honored Jesus Christ's resurrection on Easter yesterday. Yeah, we are not the same. We are the new America, the bold America, America of patriots, and America that is living the way that we should be. From the chat line, Pope Francis will have created 110 of the 140 cardinals under 80, thus eligible to vote in a conclave, which is a bit scary to me, but I'm trying to stay positive. I'm just trying to stay positive. From the chat line, that is correct. We are not the same. Also, the next pope will be more conservative, bringing back Catholic tradition. The pendulum swings back. I hope so. That would be wonderful. That would be absolutely wonderful, because we have a president who changed over the last 20 years, who now honors Jesus and God, and literally can help a lot of people realize what is going on. Also, Chris says to Glenn, as much as I'd love to see it, I doubt it will happen. There is a large conclave of ultra-liberal Jesuits. I didn't say it. Somebody else said Jesuits. Those Jesuit cardinals that have entrenched themselves in the Vatican. Revival is now. Be bold. He has risen. Coming from Todd from the chat line. We appreciate you guys jumping in on cancelthisshow.com today, as we started with the Pope situation. Here's video from JD Vance. How about JD Vance meeting the Pope? The Pope surprised people yesterday on Easter, coming out, making an appearance. He'd been battling pneumonia for a while, kidney failure. You know, as we get that video, Tanya says, amen. President Trump has mentioned God and Jesus Christ several times. This is the first video. Well, actually, Joe, can you show the other video I sent you? That's the one of them arriving in India. We're talking about him meeting the Pope. I sent you that video. As I said, I sent you the later video.
I don't remember seeing one of him meeting the Pope.
Yeah, he's with the Pope yesterday. As you just go ahead and show JD again, what you have is a situation here where JD Vance, not only did he meet with the Pope, after meeting with the Pope yesterday, he also, yeah, I sent you there. It was sent to you at 8:59, buddy. This is JD Vance and his wife, Usha, arriving in India. This guy's a machine, an absolute machine. Joe?
Sorry, I'm seeing protesters outside of JD Vance's house.
We have that one too.
Yeah, I don't see a.
I sent you at 8:59.
8:59.
That's what I was just saying. 8:59, and as we were starting the show, I said, "Hey, I sent you another video."
Oh, okay. All right, there it is. All right. Sorry. I will get that pulled up.
All right, we're here. This is Cancel This. Sometimes you have hiccups, and that was a hiccup. But so JD Vance gets to meet with the Pope yesterday. I'm sure he got a blessing. I'm sure his family got a blessing. It'd be amazing to have a blessing. But really, what are the chances JD Vance gets to meet?
Okay, so there's a problem.
Just forget it.
I
don't want to get.
It's a picture, not a video.
Okay. So JD Vance, it's a video. That's all right. JD Vance met with, we've already wasted it. Okay, take our word for it. Okay. So then after he met with the Pope, JD Vance and his wife got on a plane. They went to India. This couple, this is an amazing couple. I mean, wow, wow, wow. Everything that they're doing blows away. Are we going to play the video, Joe? Dude, Joe, I'm trying not to be mean. I was like, what is going on?
I'm trying, look, I'm trying to pull that video up still.
No, we're looking at it.
Oh, so you want that one now? Okay.
Yeah, the other one, we moved past that.
Okay.
What plane is that? Air Force Two or Trump? He received some gifts from the Pope for his family and his wife. That's amazing. That would be terrific. JD and his wife look absolutely amazing. Usha, as they arrive in India. So, dude's in Rome, gets on a plane. Now he's in India. I mean, wow, wow, wow. He's working his tail off. He is setting the example of what a vice president should be. I don't like to look that far down the line, but it's difficult not to see him as, if things continue, to see him as a front runner for the Republican Party in the next presidential election. Everything about the guy is presidential. Everything about his wife is presidential. And he set a new standard of work ethic all over the world. Gotta love it. Just love seeing him do that. So anyway, he was meeting with the Pope. Donald Trump sending us heartfelt messages, even though he and the Pope disagreed when it came to the immigration side. And by the way, there are several Catholic priests, monsignors, bishops across the country who have been putting out and being more conservative and bold to say you cannot be Catholic and Democrat at the same time and go down all of the issues. And one of those is immigration. And believe it or not, it's because of the law that's in place of the land at the time. Don't forget about that. So you have those on the left who try to distort church teaching. Yes, Glenn, his wife is of India descent. She is from India, or she is her family. Todd says he's doing a good job, but why am I not sold on him? Interesting. Great point. I don't know. You're entitled to your opinion. I guess you got to see more of them. Yeah, very, very, very interesting. Jeannie says, I was blessed by Pope John Paul. That was the best blessing that I had ever got. I'm looking for that again. I was blessed. I guess I lost that there. So Jeannie said she was blessed. There you go. Best feeling in the whole world. Yeah, that's something that I would absolutely love as well. Absolutely. Robert says, since when do illegals get due process? Exactly. Supreme Court temporarily halts the deportation of any Venezuelans held in a northern Texas detention facility under an 18th century wartime law. Ridiculous. It's gonna be overruled, though. It's going to be overruled for those Venezuelans. Kevin says abortion is huge also. Once again, Trump wants to build a wall like the Pope had around the Vatican. Yes, that is a terrific point, Glenn. I love it. And who is dumb enough to run against him? Seriously, you would have to be pretty full of yourself to run against J.D. Vance. I'm assuming because it's not going to be Donald Trump. I know he was having fun. He's not going to run for a third term. Todd says it seems the Supreme Court also disagrees with Trump on deportation. Well, we already know Amy Coney Barrett is a traitor, and she has showed that she is a traitor. She is embedded inside the Supreme Court. Clearly, Donald Trump, well, he got had, and it happens even to the best, which is why he is so good this time. Mike Pence, Amy Coney Barrett, others inside his inner circle. And you just have to see. And by the way, when it comes to the Pope, we'll be continuing. I won't get into all the names, all of that stuff. We'll get into that, and we'll as time goes through. But pray for his soul. Pope Francis, obviously meeting his maker, and they'll see, and we'll see who the next Pope becomes. Trump and Vance are building a new coalition of countries: India, Poland, Hungary, Italy, Argentina, Vietnam, among others. Economically, politically, and security. It has the potential to be stronger than the UN, since those countries are mostly all on the same page. Yeah. A lot of people talk about the next world war, and you see what's happening and so forth. Connie says, true, Vic, she is a traitor. Amy Coney Barrett is a traitor, and she showed it what she did. And she has done it over and over. And we saw the way she looked at Trump on Inauguration Day. Shame on her. And she should be remembered for that everywhere she goes because of what she has done. She claims she lied to be a conservative and then votes Democrat. Amy Coney Barrett gets no pass for what she did, especially at that level with that job and the seriousness that goes alongside of it. Chief Justice John Roberts, too, Tanya. Yes, he's left a lot to be desired. A lot to be desired. Tampon Timmy thinks he's ready. Yeah, we already know about Tampon Timmy. Yeah, one of his staff members over the weekend keyed up a Tesla. That's right. One of his staff members, his inner staff members, keyed up a Tesla. Dude's going to jail now, and they need to make an example of him for what he did. We already know the Democrats have no chance. They don't. Everything that they're trying to do right now is failing, and then they just can't get out of their own way, which is just fine with us. We're totally fine with that happening. I do think it's important. Laura Trump is confident. I don't know what that means. Laura Trump is confident. Okay. Yeah, I just love what's happening with America, and we know that. We'll see where it comes from the faith standpoint. And thankfully, as we showed you, what we have from Joe Biden last year in 1 year to Donald Trump this year. Real quick, how about this hat? Love this hat. We need to get one of these hats. Donald Trump promoting over the weekend his new Gulf of America hat. Good morning to you, Donna. Yes, we had a beautiful Easter. That is a Gulf of America hat. By the way, the end of last weekend, Donald Trump also had to sign into play that English is the official language of the United States of America as well. I mean, it's weird times. You can't take anything for granted anymore. Chris says, I don't see her as a justice in a year. How? She is ruling from the bench because of fear since several death threats and doxing. Are you saying she's going to quit? We could only hope so. After what we have seen, doesn't matter. It's all part of the job. All part of the job. Greg says, could you imagine if the presidency was chosen by 135 people like the Pope? I bet that would be interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting. Connie says, excellent. Yeah, excellent. I just, whatever, Amy Coney Barrett in the Supreme Court. They did rule in favor of one thing for Donald Trump here. We'll show you that. This came down where the Supreme Court did rule that Donald Trump and his administration does not, I repeat, does not have to give aid to foreign countries. You're going to have lower court judges. You're going to have lower courts also doing anything and everything they can to derail Trump and the conservative movement that is happening in this country right now. But that is one the Supreme Court did rule in favor of for Donald Trump. These people are dirty. They are evil. They will pop up. The seeds have been planted. We already know there's a deep state. The deep state just didn't all of a sudden go away because Donald Trump and Americans and patriots showed up to the voting polls. Young people, African Americans, Latinos putting Donald Trump in office. They're still there. They're not just going to say we got our asses kicked in every sense of the word. They're going to come back. They've got people in place already. The chat line wanting her to step down. Yeah, of course. She's a very big disappointment. ACB. Todd says a meteorologist on Fox 2 actually said a front from the Gulf of America was coming in. I don't really watch local news anymore because like most people don't, but that's interesting. I would have loved to have heard that. If you can remember, let me know what meteorologist said it, because I guarantee it wasn't Glenn Zimmerman. I can promise you that. And that's saying enough right there. I promise you it wasn't him. Anyway, I digress. So the Supreme Court rules in favor of Donald Trump there. Did you hear that all over the media? No, because you're not going to hear that from them. They don't care. They're not going to try to help you with that ever, as in ever, ever. Todd said it was a female one. Okay. I bet it was a new one that they have. It has to be the newest one. That's all I know. Or somebody who's new, because I worked there for a long time and nobody ever would have given you that. Glenn says, I stopped watching local when you left, Vic. Thank you. It's a compliment. I'll take it that way. Okay. JD Vance is doing what he's doing, as we were showing you. And of course, all of these protesters and everything else are at his house now. We talk about Amy Coney Barrett. Well, maybe she received death threats. She's afraid for her kids. So now she's using that as an excuse to vote Democrat and not do the job that she promised to do with Donald Trump. So now this is what it's like in this day and age. You don't see conservatives, do you? Correct me if I'm wrong, doing crap like this at Democrat houses. Here, this is at JD Vance's house. These people out there protesting, thank God not illegally. It's all right. You can do whatever you want from a legal standpoint. This is what he has to deal with on a daily basis. So we just pray for JD Vance and his family and his kids doing the job that they're doing, because in this day and age, this is the kind of crap that you have to deal with. It's not right. It's not fair. But it is, as we continue to show that. I don't know what people think they're going to get done by doing stuff like this. But, we saw it with the Tesla things as well. I mean, it's what happened. I hate to see this stuff.
At least they're not, dropping off immigrants at his house. Remember when that happened to Kamala?
Oh, they did. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Donna says, I was annoyed at the many negative comments about JD visiting the Pope. People are so petty. Well, yeah, it's social media. Come on. Keyboard warriors. Anybody can say anything, whether it's true or not, have any facts or not. And if you disagree, you're a hate monger. Jeannie says they're all old. LOL. They are. Same thing with all of those Tesla protests. It's all older people. It's not younger people. Younger people love Trump. It's a new beginning for America, a rebirth. The left hates it.
It's the people who can't divorce themselves from like mainstream media. It's the people who grew up trusting those. And that's just ingrained in their DNA now.
Jay says it's absolute insanity and just shows their ignorance. I have to agree. I do have to agree. It's all for attention, media coverage, and it's trendy, according to Kimberly. Yeah, it is. All of those things are going on, but America just continues to get things done. We continue to kick ass, and I love it. The only thing that's frustrating is the fact that you also have weirdos on a paid day trip. Greg says, meh, who's afraid of 27 total people? 27 protesters that have to return to their safe places after the protest ends. Glenn says, Joe, you're exactly right. Jenny says, I get bored protesting all the time. I know. Yeah, we know. We get it. It is what it is. Here's something that's a little bit scary, though. 95% of media sucks. It does. It's wrong. They're angry. And now they're angry. They don't care about their low ratings. They don't care about not getting the income that they used to get. They're just angry. Angry because of Trump and America going in the right direction. The question, though, from the chat line is, my question is, why is Secret Service not clearing these people out? They can protest, but they can be moved behind a designated perimeter, which can be as far as a few blocks for security. Well, that's up to Donald Trump.
Well, I say let them protest as long as they're peacefully protesting.
As long as they're on the grounds where they're supposed to be. And then if there's reason to believe there's a security risk, then as Chris says, then there's a right to put them where they need to be. This is the Vice President of the United States, by the way. Don't make horrible remarks about my family, FAFO. I draw the line there. Yeah. Yeah. And he isn't even there. Of course, he's not there. He's on a trip, but whatever. Solid 10 people at Tesla dealership in South County. Honk if you love democracy. The science read. That's awesome. From the chat line, TDS is so real. Yeah, we're just going to continue to win. They need Snickers bars thrown at them. Want to get away? Yeah, I know. I got you guys. The only thing that concerns me, we saw what Amy Coney Barrett did. She got through. She's not a true conservative. She showed that with her latest voting. And I can say that she's not a true conservative, and she's not what she promised to be because of her voting record. Not just throwing it out there, we point to specific examples, specifically when it comes to the immigration, when it comes to stopping Donald Trump from getting rid of illegal aliens in this country, including gang members. Shame on Amy. But also, it's difficult to see all these deep state people, politicians who are already there. How about Pete Hegseth? Did you see what happened with Pete? He's had to get rid of his chief of staff. I mean, his chief of staff is now leaving over at the Pentagon because of leaks. There were several, more than one leaks coming from his office with this chief of staff. And let me tell you something about chiefs of staff. These are people you have to trust the most. 100% the most. Where you feel, and he chose his chief of staff, as far as I know. He chose it. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? Is the deep state really that good? where they can get in and keep that position, and Pete Hegseth allowed it to happen? How is that happening? I don't know. I don't know if anybody has any idea how that could happen. So that happened at the end of last week. So here we are going, okay, here's somebody else that was able to infiltrate the conservative movement. I don't know how it happens. How did that happen? Traitors from the chat line. And I can tell you this much as well. This chief of staff isn't the only one. They're everywhere in DC. How are they infiltrating the Conservative Party? Bondi from the chat line hinted the leakers are leaking classified information and she's going to prosecute them. I hope she does. Put their ass in prison for life or as long as you possibly can without the possibility of parole, because this is American and American safety that we are talking about. And not one, but tons of Americans. We should show up at the protest with random silly signs. Freedom for duck-billed platypus. Okay, or ban the hydrogen monoxide water that is acid rainwater. Okay. Yeah, your humor's a little different. You're a little out there. It's all right. You can be out there. It's all right. Your wife needs to put you back in your padded room, but you can keep the stuff on. Everything is all right. It's easy, Vic. Come on. Bribes, blackmail, and threats is how the deep state does what they've done in DC for generations and generations. And to think that it can be stopped overnight is difficult. Well, I mean, Joe, I sent you this video. The president of El Salvador, Bukele, who we've been talking about, who's been a massive asset to the United States. How did they change El Salvador around? Well, guess what they did? They went deep, very, and I wanted to play this again so everybody heard him talking about this. They went deep, very deep, and they started getting rid of these lower level judges. They just scrapped it and started from scratch. Would this be possible in the United States? Here he is speaking about what they were able to do.
But jumping out of the water when it's already boiling is an almost impossible feat. You are not there yet. And believe me, you don't want to be. We did the unthinkable to cleanse our society. We arrested the terrorists, but we have to remove corrupt judges and corrupt attorneys and prosecutors.
Yeah. But they did it. And they changed fast and watched their economy start to grow. It's literally the safest country in the world right now. El Salvador, because they hit the bad guys head on. They weren't afraid. They wanted a better future. Tanya says, Pam Bondi is great, but the justice system majority sucks. Yep. Chris says, when it comes to immigrants not being able to deport without a bench hearing, in imagination of law, it does not have to be one hearing. So they can run 100 deportees in front of a selected immigration judge and be ruled on en masse. I agree. The current DOJ just has to have the balls to do it. Yeah, I agree. Great point. Wonderful, great point. All the bad guys are now here, Vic, because of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the former borders are, the DOJ, Soros, and everybody else who made it a mission to bring them here for whatever reasons, voting, an attack on America, whatever the case. We just cannot sit back and think that everything is just going to be wonderful and great and easy. Prayers for Pete Hegseth and any other of our cabinet members who are dealing with these leaks and dealing with everything else that's going on. Yeah. Pete Hegseth, yeah, thoughts and prayers to you. Okay. The senator from Massachusetts got his 10 minutes of fame. This jackass And it got too much attention, and that's why we put towards the end of the show. Literally, of course, went to El Salvador over the weekend to try to meet with the MS-13 gang member who was proven to be an MS-13 gang member by judges here who had deportation orders. Deportation orders. Then he went on all the news networks yesterday. Just a total dumbass. This guy used taxpayer dollars to fly to El Salvador for this. That's right. Go to El Salvador, gets caught having margaritas. Yeah. That's what these liberals do. Let's make a mockery of it. Let's try to, and he's the guy that looks stupid and silly for doing this. Tom Homan put him in his place. Tom Homan, our true border czar, our true American, our true patriot, made sure he went to the airwaves as well to get the true message out about this jackass from Massachusetts.
What bothers me more than that is a U.S. Senator traveled to El Salvador on taxpayer dime to meet with an MS-13 gang member, public safety threat terrorist. I mean, in the meantime, the day before he traveled, an illegal alien was arrested for murder, released to the streets rather than honoring an ICE detainer in his very own state. What concerns me is Van Halen never went to the border the last 4 years on Joe Biden when he had a 600% increase in sex trafficking in women and children. You have a record number of no-inspected terrorists crossing that border. You had 250,000 Americans die from fentanyl overdose because of the open border. You got over 4,000 illegal aliens died making that journey, which is an historic record. What shocks me is he's remained silent on the travesty that happened on our southern border. Many people died. Thousands of people died. I met with hundreds of angel moms and dads who buried their children that were murdered by an illegal alien. How many angel moms and dads has he met in the state of Maryland? That's what concerns me. What bothers me.
Yeah, Tom Homan. Is this guy not a saint? Once again, one of those guys like Donald Trump. I'm glad that we have him, and I hope that we appreciate him. Sometimes I wonder if we really deserve him and the work that he is doing. Yeah, that I don't even like to say his name. The senator from Massachusetts, the ultra liberal Democratic senator. He just wanted some hype video. If you look at law, the guy can't even, this MS-13 gang member, illegal that was here, he can't even come back to America. Number one, because of his deportation orders. If he came back to America, one of two things would happen. One, he'd be arrested as soon as he got here because he was an illegal. That would be the first thing. Or two, he'd have to be deported to another country. He can't come back. That is the law. Yet liberals, lunatic left liberals, evil elves, troll around trying to distort the truth, hoping that Americans don't know what the truth is. I would not be surprised if you have more Democrats try to do this because they're all looking for a little hype. Anything to try to take the message off the good that's happening in America. From the chat line, why is the DOJ not charging these people with the Logan Act? They could certainly do that. Democrats, in my opinion, are digging themselves into a non-recoverable hole. I agree with you. Jay, great point from the chat line. Also, oh, yeah, senator from Maryland, not Massachusetts. Thanks, Glenn. It's sad. It's sick. Using taxpayer dollars, and he knows what the outcome's going to be. And it's all for theater. All for freaking theater. But things continue to go well for the United States. And we're just going to continue to focus on that. We need people like Tom Homan to put these guys in their place. It's gotten way too much media attention. One guy literally has MS-13 gang tattoos on his hand. Literally. M for money, S, and then there's a 1-3. Yeah. There's a reason he was beating his wife. Go back and look at the video. Wife beater, woman beater, put his hand on a woman. Yeah, we want him here, but they won't talk about that. Donald Trump was also doing a presser from the White House, breaking down everything that this guy was, and MSNBC cut away from him. They don't want the truth out. But we know we're educated. We're going to continue to educate ourselves, and we should try to educate others as well. We cover a lot of topics on the show. We continue to move things through. One thing that I did want to cover when it comes to all the good that's happening here And the alliance that somebody brought up earlier made me think of that the United States is having with countries around the world. Oh, real quick, I got to say this. Chris said, did you see, Jamie Raskin is a horrible, evil man. This is a Jewish man who hurts Jewish people when it comes to rulings and didn't want Jewish students to be protected on college campuses as well. Also said that he wouldn't allow the peaceful transfer to Donald Trump if he became president. Well, Raskin is he's a talker. He just likes to talk. This guy has no basis. He has no standing. Did you see Jamie Raskin saying when they get in power, the Democrats will retaliate against countries that help the Trump administration? The Dems are desperate. Yeah, Jamie Raskin is too. If you looked like him, sounded like him, had a heart like him, a brain like him, yeah, I think you'd feel desperate as well. Hell, his wife is probably happy as hell he's gone. Talking about the Maryland senator. Probably. But in the midst of all this stuff going on, we bring it up from time to time, what's happening in Europe as countries are losing their economy and they're losing who they are because of the Muslim influence. Ayaan Hirsi Ali is a human rights activist, very popular. She's been talking about what's happening with the Muslim movement around the world. And she was doing an interview recently and she was asked, and you'll hear it, what she thinks the worst terroristic event could possibly be for America or the world. And here she is talking about that.
What is the terrorist event scenario that really keeps you up at night? Not just because of the event itself, but the implications of it.
The fall of Europe. It's the fall of Europe. It's the fall of the United Kingdom is on the brink. The government of Sweden, the Prime Minister said a few weeks ago that he has lost control of the monopoly of violence, that his government has lost control of the monopoly of violence. He was very honest, but I think in many ways that's where Germany is at, where France is at. And those countries falling like domino effects, that is my nightmare. And they have done that through settlement, through infiltration in their institutions, including political parties, so that the government in office today, the Labour government, has done more to accommodate in the last 8 months than anything else. And that is my nightmare, that the West starts to...
Yeah, there's a lot to pay attention to. We always talk about international happenings. Obviously, we focus more on America. But you kind of put it in the back of your mind, but at the same point in time, remember that all of that is possible. And it's churning. That's something that's not stopping. It's continuing. Literally, for whether it's for hype or whatever. I mean, you have Conor McGregor, super popular worldwide, wanting to run for president in Ireland. What's one of his major points? Stopping illegal immigration, stopping the violence. I mean, look at the violence that's happening to women by a lot of the Muslim gangs that have come into there. It's insane. People just overrunning their countries. That's why he's running for president. Glenn says United Kingdom will be the first Muslim country to get a nuclear weapon, tongue in cheek. Okay. Yeah. Jeannie says Muslims, exclamation point. Yep. We just try to get the information out that's out there. There's so much of it. It's just something to remember and to think about and what's happening in Europe right now, and something that will have to be dealt with at some point in time. It will be. From the chat line, Europe is lost. From Richard, has been lost for many years. No doubt about it. And this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, and we start to see it happening. And of course, I have done the research and the breakdowns about Muslim population compared to non-Muslim. And we were told previously by Colonel Joe Adams in America, if you look at the population by 2050, America would have enough Muslims here to elect a Muslim president, if not before 2050. I don't know. It's food for thought, something to think about, something to look at as well. A couple other, we are in trouble, I'm telling you. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and America is copying them from Robert. From the chat line as well. If Biden or knee pad Cammy would have gotten into office, this would have been the next step here. Sarah Adams, a former, yeah, we've shown Sarah Adams before. She became very, very, very popular on a couple podcasts. Former CIA analyst that was a whistleblower on the Benghazi attacks has been saying that it's going to happen here. It's not a matter of if, but when. Yeah, the first time my eyes were opened was with Colonel Joe when he told me about that. I'm like, and I started looking at the population, and then I watched a video that shows what's happening through Europe, and it's just a matter of time before you see that wave come west, and it's already happening here. Yeah, it's scary. Look up Sharia law. We've talked about that so many times. Look up Sharia law. Look up Sharia law. Hey, feminist. Hey, ladies. Yeah, look up Sharia law. Then start to tell me how you think the Democrats are so wonderful. Educate yourselves from that standpoint. All right, speaking of education, what do you think about this? New update, new headline that has come down when it comes to China and AI. We've talked about AI. We've broken it down for a couple years here now. Yeah, look what happened to Michigan. Yeah, I know, I hear in the Dearborn area. Yeah, but also in the Dearborn area, they also, there were those who were voting for Trump. But here it is, AI in China. Look what China's doing right now. This just coming out. Every kid in China now required to learn AI starting September 1st. Mandatory even for 6-year-olds. Let me repeat this again, because this, to me, was the biggest headline I saw over the weekend. We can talk politics. Yes, unfortunately, with all due respect, and God bless his soul, talking about Pope Francis passing, but we knew it was inevitable and it was coming. And we knew that he was battling pneumonia and that kidney failure was there. It was a matter of days. We were praying for the best of him, but we knew it was coming. So it wasn't one of those shocking things. This update, to me, mandatory in China for 6-year-olds to start studying AI. People, I see it every single day in every single way. Whether you agree with it or not, it is here. I even got an update over the weekend where somebody was using AI to find what they thought, whether this works or not, comparable comps in real estate. And it's like, what? Well, we should get this much money for a house because this is what AI is telling us it should be. There's a lot of great that's happening with AI. There's some that's not so great. But the story here is the fact that AI is going to be a huge factor, as we've talked with the Stargate system that Donald Trump and Elon were trying to bring into play and trying to fight China with their own AI services. It's going to, and just think what AI can do when it comes to trying to steal secrets, have money breakdowns, grid breakdowns, you name it, from an evil standpoint, because where there is good, there's always evil. The yin and the yang of this life that we live. America better get serious about AI.
So what I want to know is, what are they learning about AI? Are they learning how to program AI, or are they learning how to use AI and talk to AI?
Everything. All aspects of AI.
No, we definitely
Robert says,
be teaching our kids that too.
AI rules. Quantum computers will get bigger. Wow, wow, wow. Todd says, has no one seen the episode of X-Files where the computer takes over and kills everyone? Why do we think that this is the best way when it comes to AI? Well, I'm going to tell you this. We better know, you have to know how to stop something if it gets started. You have to be educated when it comes to the worldwide figures.
Go back and watch Maximum Overdrive. One of the best.
I don't remember Maximum Overdrive.
You don't remember Maximum Overdrive?
What was in Maximum? Or who was
okay? So the Green Goblin basically was a semi-truck.
Okay.
I know that's very confusing. Anyway, it's a Stephen King novel. This was like the first one that he directed himself. And the soundtrack was by AC/DC. I mean, how do you not know about this song? I mean, this movie.
Okay, but so what made you think about that?
Okay, because basically technology takes over and starts killing people, mainly vehicles and well, I mean, pretty much anything electronic. You have to see the movie. I know chat's got my back on this one.
Oh, I trust you. I trust you.
It's like an 80s movie about AI.
Greg says, if I can make a Vic AI video with puppy dogs, anybody can. Yeah. Musk says there's a 20% chance that AI will end the world. A 20% chance? That's a big deal.
That's all?
No,
I think it's
no,
more than that.
But for Musk to come out and say that, that's huge. That gave me chills.
I think he's being very, very...
Sounds like everyone wants China to rule. Our kids can't even tell what sex they are. Well, some kids, not all kids. Those are the minority. Space Odyssey, Dave. Space Odyssey coming from Connie. But all of those things are happening. There's all kinds of AI classes, and it's changing. I mean, like, I know people are trying to change and on the internet, oh, do it in 28 days. And then it changes. So it's one of those things you have to, and once again, remember, if you do something, this is one of those think tank suggestions that if you do anything every single day, just 18 minutes after 1 year, you are an expert. The top 0.001% of people, 18 minutes for 365 days. If you could actually do that, 18 minutes a day, you become an expert. Start learning AI. Start learning AI. Start learning AI. I know a person, she's implemented AI into her entire business now. And now she has her people using AI as well, to get maximum overdrive with everything. Not just there, the job stayed, but now she has her people using AI.
Well, you think about Eric Johnson, somebody who asks, all different kinds of questions. All that stuff is saved and added to the database of knowledge, right?
Okay, give me an example.
So if I were to ask it how to, I don't know, do anything, that information is saved, or yeah, all that information is saved, and I guess it would be put back in like as a knowledge database. Like it basically can learn how we think if it studies us long enough. If it studies the questions that we ask and the things that we ask for long enough, I bet you it could predict what our next question or next move would be at some point.
So if it's false information, it could corrupt the system, according to Todd asking the question. Once again, so if it's false information, it corrupts the system. I just get very afraid when I hear China implementing this with 6-year-olds, and the genius that kids can be when their brains are utilized in a manner for good or bad. They learn fast. An entire nation of AI experts. Just think about that. An entire nation of AI experts within the next, 5 years? I mean, just think with AI and quantum, the quantum computers. I'm glad you brought that up, Robert. Just think with AI and the quantum computers, with hologram technology, just think of the mischief. What we think we see, what's not really there, what could be. I mean, wow, wow, wow.
We're definitely behind, that's for sure.
Who feeds it? Coming from Jeannie. People.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Like I said, all the information that we access or try to access, it all gets saved.
And not trying to get too far off the grid here, from the chat line, I'm honest. Honestly, I'm more concerned about the CERN collider. China is developing one that's 10 times the size of the CERN that exists. For reference, the collider develops dark energy, creating a mini black hole. We've done a little bit with CERN. What could happen? I don't know. I guess the possibilities are endless when it comes to negative, dark technology.
We are entering weird times.
No, we are. I mean, but there's things that need to be talked about, and we're not crazy conspiracy theories for seeing any of this, because these things are happening. Mainstream media doesn't cover it that much. They should be covering the fact that what China's doing. Would you want your kids learning AI right now? There's your question. I would say 100%. I've already told my kids. When I saw this, I told them yesterday on Easter, all 3. 2 college kids, 1 junior in high school.
I think the more we fear it and the more we sit back and wait to see what happens, is that would be our demise. We need to be on top of this. We need to be teaching our kids.
Greg says it's created on an atomic level when you add that technology. Yeah. Also from Robert, to me, AI is like a good lawyer on deposition. It's what and how the questions are asked correctly, because it's how you talk to your AI to get the most information out of it. At least that's what I have learned in my time of studying it. So AI, according to Robert, is still a tool. The question is everything, in my humble opinion. Yeah. It's what you're saying to it. It's what you're teaching. Connie says, but is it like 5 kids in China learning? Don't they only allow 1 kid per couple? Anybody who is a 6-year-old child in China is learning. Let's just put it that way. Mandatory. And when they give out mandatories, they're mandatories. It's not like it is in the United States.
And that only applies to girls, not boys. You can have as many boys as you want, I think.
AI has been around a long time, guys. It's changing our timelines for a better future for humanity. So we're told. Well, yeah, you'll be told the positivity of it. Glenn says, my son got his master's in AI. What's he up to now with that, Glenn? I just wanted to make sure. How is he using it? What do you learn from that? What has he told you? Jerry says, found it, Joe. I guess he's talking about your movie. I'm assuming. Okay. I'm assuming so.
But he mentioned
Maximum
something
Overdrive.
Earlier. He might be talking about something else.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm very interested, Glenn, from that standpoint. A master's in AI. I could only imagine there's got to be career fields for it as well. Geofenced every event. Democrats caught staging another inorganic color revolution operation against Trump by Tyler Durden. So that was for you, Joe. Found it. I'm not quite sure what that's about.
Send that my way.
We are ending. Yeah, it's on the chat line. You can go ahead and check that out. So anyway, yeah, we'll do the COVID.gov update tomorrow. That's an evergreen story, Joe. Yeah, replying. Yeah, the kids. Yep, there you go. Guys, we appreciate you joining us today. Shout out to Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley. Wenty's, I'll be there tonight watching the Blues, baby. It's a great blues bar too. Terrific place. Check it out. 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Ben and crew are amazing. Heck, I may branch out. Maybe get dinner there tonight. We'll see. I don't know. Work hard, play hard. 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. 7-8 different types of food that are amazing. Smoked wings, fried wings, smoked meats, some of the best pizzas you'll find, the buffalo chicken salad, love their pretzel bites. I mean, so many damn good things. Chris says, Projo, I know the movie you were talking about. It's a Stephen King classic. There you go, Stephen King. Glenn says, by the way, my son just landed a gig with Lockheed Martin, going through high security clearances right now. I could only imagine. Congratulations to him, and congratulations to you guys as parents. That's a big, big deal. Good for him, putting the time in, working hard, and using some of that daddy brain that you gave him. Yes, the movie was Maximum Overdrive. Also, thanking advertisers, Capriati's. Check it out if you haven't. Please, if you get over that way, make time to get by. Just check it out once. You'll be sold. The Bobby sandwich, which is a Thanksgiving Day turkey sandwich, which is absolutely amazing. So unique and creative with the fresh roasted turkey that they use every day. Plus their Wagyu beef. And of course, the Philly cheesesteak. Made me like Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. Their fries are very unique and different as well. There's a reason why Capriati's is doing great all across the country. Check it out in Rock Hill. They're open from 9 to 9 every day. And we appreciate their support here. Also, Rockwood Charcoal, if you're grilling, it's all natural with a few all natural charcoals, the best charcoal in the world. You can buy it throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, pretty much any store. If you're not throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, you get it at Ace Hardware. Once again, you know it is totally natural. When you take one and you squeeze it in your hand, it breaks apart. Get another one that's not natural. You try to squeeze it and it has fillers in it. You can't do it. Also, when it comes to real estate, look no further than Megan Livingstone, 314-249-1708. If you need questions answered, give her a call, 314-249-1708. She will help set you straight. She's working a lot of commercial. She's working a lot of residential and making things happen for people. And obviously, you have to be educated. on a variety of issues. Real estate has never been like it is now. You need somebody who's experienced, somebody who knows the St. Louis metropolitan area, and Megan does. You can also email her, Megan at experience-re.com, Megan at experience-re.com. Also, shout out to Aesthetica Med Spa. They are the people who take care of my face. I'm not ashamed to admit it. You get the Botox or whatever. If you are a man or a woman, it's in Lake St. Louis. All you have to do is give them a call or an email and say Fresh Face. Use the Fresh Face name, and you're going to get a percentage off. Fresh Face. They'll take care of you. They will. I mean, it's amazing, the technology. We've had Tasha on before to explain all the technology that is happening to help you age gracefully if you so desire. Once again, Aesthetica Med Spa in Lake St. Louis. Use the word Fresh Face. That's how she knows that it works for her, advertising with us from that standpoint, or doing trade from that standpoint as well. Also, we were talking about AI and technology. Alliance Tech. You'd look no further for all of your laptops, your computers. Cybersecurity is a big deal now, whether it's for your personal use or for your business. Check out Brian Ferrario. Use the link that we have here. You'll use the link that they gave us. Literally get you a cybersecurity assessment for Cancel This Show to check everything out when it comes to making things safe. They gave us your own code. You go to alliancetech.com/cancel this. Alliancetech.com/cancel this. Brian is a genius. He lives in the Chesterfield area. It doesn't matter where you are around the country. He can help you. Alliancetech.com/cancel this. Let them know that you're interested, and his team will take care of you. Guys, we appreciate you jumping in for Cancel This, canceltheshow.com. We'll be back again tomorrow. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing it, letting people know what we do. And thank you for any donations. They help us pay all the bills that we have here. Grateful for you guys with us today. Have an awesome day. That does it for this April 21st show. We will see you tomorrow. For Pro Joe, I'm Vic Faust. Have a great day.
Folks, today's a big conversation. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Capuy.